Friday morning on a new job out here at Princeton, Kansas. Mike's making sure the skidder doesn't roll off. The first thing we got to do on this job, there's a lot of creeks out here. Of course, Kansas, it seems like anytime we work in Kansas, it's full of creeks and ditches, kind of flat country. So we're putting in some creek crossings. See, we've got a plastic corrugated pipe down there. Kenny's gonna put some dirt back. We've already got that little one laid. Now we've got a couple, kind of see through there, we've got a couple 36 inchers over there for a bigger crossing we gotta make. It should work out real nice. Kind of greasy this morning, rained a little bit last night. Of course, we moved the skidder out here Wednesday evening. Then I brought the skid steer out here yesterday afternoon late. We stayed up in Olathe, Kansas last night. That's where we'll stay when we work on this job. We'll be out here for a few weeks. This is a pretty good sized job of walnut here, and it is an absolute jungle back in there. Then aside from this, we've already got one more job that joins it, another job of walnut. We've got a couple others right here in the same area we've got to look at. They're kind of pending. So it might be a fall and winter of Kansas logging. You just never know, and that's part of the fun of logging. It's just kind of seems like no two jobs are the same. You never know where you're going to be from one month to the next, really, it seems like. I know today primarily we'll cut some trees today, but I know primarily today we're going to be building some crossings, trying to get these crossings installed that way we're ready to roll. We'll have one deck area right over here. We're going to cut a hole in the fence up here. That way we can get the truck in to load out logs. There's not much of a ditch up there. I think this crossing here was more of a per the landowner's request. That's all right. That's what we're here to do. We're here to oblige our clients the best we can. Should make a good crossing. Now these other crossings, or especially this one back here, this big crossing, I'm kind of interested to see how it's going to play out. Like I said, 36-inch tubes there. It's going to be a pretty good sized crossing. And that's where the skid steers really shine for us on these jobs. It gives us the ability to whip out these crossings pretty quick. Sure, you could do it with the skidder, but it seems like you can do it just a little faster and do a little better job with a track machine there. Ding. I actually had to take the chainsaw and cut off part of the pipe. You can see right there we cut off about 5 foot of it first thing. It was too long, so we got an extra piece there, a little short piece, but get some material there for the approaches. He's kind of uneven on his dig there. It's all right. I'll probably jump on that later, and I'll push out this old dead tree. I'll kind of clear that out to where it's a little wider entrance there, to where you got some room to get in and out of there. But the guys got here about 30 minutes before I did. I had to stop and get fuel this morning. I had to fuel up my truck and bought 100 gallons of fuel for the skid steer and the skidder. Hopefully get us through the next 2 days. Like I said, we're pretty fortunate. We don't burn near the fuel a lot of big operations do. That's part of the reason why we switched from the bigger 6-cylinder diesel engines down to these 540 Deers, 548Ds. They're all 4 cylinders now. The G series we used to run were 6-cylinder machines, and they would pull a mountain, but they would also drink some fuel. Of course, the 490 was that big 6-cylinder Cummins, and it would drink a lot of fuel. That should work pretty good. Now, like any good red-blooded American, I'm not real fond of this diesel exhaust fluid stuff, but unfortunately, with whether it be new equipment or new trucks, that just seems to be the way of the world anymore, is just them finding another way to nickel and dime you to death on top of an already expensive purchase. One thing about it, though, I can say about this cat is we've got like 165 hours on this thing, 170, somewhere in that area. This is only the second time I've put DEF fluid in this. And when I got this machine, like the day I got it, it had under a quarter of a tank. That didn't even fill it up with diesel. Cat did not fill my machine up with diesel or DEF when I got it new, which, you know, go figure. But anyway, so really, for all the things I've heard, a lot of guys walk on these bigger machines say they really go through the DEF fluid. We've had pretty good luck. So hopefully this next little batch takes us quite a ways. Get everything locked up on. I don't like to leave anything to chance. Maybe I unlocked it. Maybe it doesn't want to be locked. Gosh darn it. There we go. Anyway, so, and you think as environmentally sound as this stuff's supposed to be, whatever, they'd find a way to not make the lids leak. I've never bought a jug of this stuff that it seems like you didn't spill half of it out the top because the lid doesn't seal properly on it, but whatever, we can gripe and complain about that all day. That's a good sign. I need to clean the back of my truck off. All right, I think Kenny, they've jumped in the skidder. They've went across the creek, so I'm gonna fuel the 299 up, and we're gonna go over there and start cutting some trees. I'm on the skidder, not generally where I enjoy being, but you do what you gotta do to make things work. Cahill's not with us today. Cahill, he has a class on Tuesday and Thursday night, so sometimes working on the road is hard for Cahill to come with us. He goes to class for diesel mechanic school. I think he's in his last semester, maybe something like that. Anyway, he's probably money ahead if he just stays in school and doesn't get too wrapped up in this log, and it'll get the best of you logging wheel. It's probably worse than any drug there ever was. Anyway, I moved one of the bigger whistles over there, and I've got it sitting there ready to install. Now this little area right here, there's only 5 or 6 trees that we're going to cut over here. There goes that one right now. Down she goes. I don't know where our little helper Mike is. He's ran off probably for a smoke break or something. But we're actually waiting on a load of material. At first I was told it was shot rock or some bigger 4 and 5, 6 inch material, but I think now what they're bringing is a load of like demo stuff like bricks. Well, speaking of the devil, just like a bad penny, never know when he's going to show up. Down there and he'll get her hooked up. Kenny's working on the next one here. This one came out pretty easy. Short body tree, but got a good log. About a 16, 17 foot piece there. Of course, employee, well, in the running for employee of the month. Him and Cahill are neck and neck. Yeah, see that? Yeah. Employee of the month right there. I hope we can get 3,000 or 4,000 feet cutting out today, kind of make haste on this job. There she goes. We'll get up here, get it hooked up, and take them out. I always like getting to work along a pretty busy roadway where we can deck the logs where everybody can see them as they drive by. Can't really see it, but Kenny's up there talking to a landowner right now who stopped in. I'm sure they're wanting to know about some timber. Hey? Hey, guy? Well, I told you wrong. Originally, I was told we were getting shot rock. Then I was told we were getting something from a demolition project, whether it be rock or brick. Now it looks like we are getting a load of shot. And that'll be fun to work with. I was really hoping for like some 4 to 5 inch material. Something that would kind of be easy to work with. But it's not our dime paying for it, so. The landowner bought the rock here, which is nice. What are you looking at, guy? Where's your safety equipment?
There.
Better get it on.
Trees. Cleaning rock.
That's it. Cahill's Employee of the Month. You're out. That's going to be a pretty good creek crossing right there. 2 36-inch whistles. Of course, the creek went over here right towards the Bang Jog right here. This was all kind of gravel bar. Underneath the dirt you see is more shot rock. We've had 2 loads of shot delivered, and we're going to line all this with shot right here to try to take some of the blow from rushing waters, because this creek does get on a tear. So what we're doing, we're just kind of doing a layer of shot rock and a layer of dirt after that. Then what we'll do is we'll cross the skid steer here in a minute and kind of cut that side off, line it with shot as well. We've still got a lot of shot rock to utilize, so it's going to turn out to be a pretty good crossing. It should be in place for hopefully years and years, unless we get some toad strangler floods, which I don't rule anything out anymore. But hopefully this shot being in there will help take some of the blow of that rushing water coming down through here, because I have no doubt that she really picks up some steam. Now we will be running across this with a skidder. I don't know if later today, maybe. It's getting late enough in the day now that I don't know if we'll get any cut over there by the time we get all this done, the rest of the shot on here. But definitely tomorrow we'll be running across there with the skidder getting some logs out, so. We'll wait for him to come back. The dump truck's just been dumping the shot over there, as you can see from the previous video. And of course this here, I've kind of tried to cut this at an angle. Of course the landowner wants this to drain as well, so when Kenny's done, I'll actually come in here with the skid steer and I'll kind of cut this down a little bit to where this does drain at an angle down to the actual approach. All the water can drain down off through here. Coming back right now. Pretty good sized trees out here. See one of them right there across the creek. We got that to cut. I think there's about 100 trees in here total. That's what I believe there is. Load of shot and some base. We'll put a layer of rock in there, then probably come back with a layer of dirt. give it some stability, help it pack down. And that skidder, when you get to dragging some loads across there, it'll waller it down pretty good. So it's, and this dirt out here, of course, there ain't no clay or anything. It's all good black dirt, so kind of helps we get some material in there to give it some stability. Hey guys, if you like what you see, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for all of our latest videos.